He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
Here's the problem with variable. Variable is there's still a penalty. Okay?
3 months.
Penalty.
Yep.
Now, you could take variable and say, well, wait a second. If I took variable, I can lock in any time, so I could take variable now, even though it's a higher rate than the 3-year or the 5-year. It's a higher rate, but I can take it now knowing it's going to come down. And then I can pick my spot when I will lock in. I can lock in for free.
Exactly.
Except, and that is true, with one important consideration. The bank knows they got you.
You're not going anywhere.
The bank knows that you don't want to pay that 3-month penalty.
Yeah.
The bank knows that when you go to them and say, okay, what's my rate to lock in?
They're going to bake it in.
Maybe. That rate to lock in is going to be a higher offer than the best deal out there.
Absolutely. They baked it in.
And sometimes by too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're at the mercy of the bank.
You're at the mercy. So then you say to yourself, well, then, fuck you. I'll pay the 3 months. And yeah, but you'll pay the 3 months. You will get a better rate. The math will work out for you. But let me suggest that because obviously if you can see over the course of time, if I can get us better locked in rate than what my existing bank is offering, I can just do the math and figure out that at the end of a year, I will have covered that 3-month penalty to get out.
Yeah.
You still have to pay 3 months. If you say, well, bank, your offer's so shitty, I'm going to leave you anyway. They're going to say, haha, we're going to charge you 3 months interest. And you say, it doesn't matter. The rate that I'm securing offsets very quickly.
It has to. Yeah, the math has to make sense.
So here's a strategy for people who have relatively small mortgages. Okay. This is something I don't hear from anybody in the mortgage business, but I'm going to put it out there because it's not a bad idea. Take a line of credit instead. If your borrowing is less than 65% of the value of the house, you can take a line of credit.
Absolutely.
So if you take a line of credit, you say, oh no, but variable's prime minus 1%, and this line of credit's prime or prime plus a half, so that's a lot more interest. But it's temporary.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just getting you from now to that point where the Bank of Canada reaches what we sometimes refer to as the terminal rate, which is when they say we are now finished cutting. So it's either 3%, 2.75, or 2.5. We're finished cutting now.
Yeah.
So even though you started off paying more, you're now paying less, and the line of credit is fully open. There's no 3-month penalty.
Nothing.
Now, you might say to yourself, well, wait a minute, Ron, I'll have to do the math on that, and where's the break even? Is it at 4 months, 7 months, 8 months? Just fuck that noise, okay? You're just saving the penalty, all right?
The penalty alone is
and if we know the rate's coming down, we know
ride the wave down.
That means your rate. So you might start at 6.2, but you come down.
Yep.
Okay. So what's wrong? Look, the idea is if you're determined, you've got a renewal coming up now, you don't want to lock in for 2 years. You don't want to lock in for 3 years. You think that the point that the rates are going to really hit bottom is only like 6 or 8 or 9 months away.
Yeah.
10 months away. Well, then for God's sakes, this is a rational option to think about. I know sometimes people hate the math on it because it already
the numbers look scary to them. That's why, because people look at the monthly payment. That's all.
Well, no, but the monthly payment on a HELOC is tiny.
Sure,
monthly payment on a line of credit is tiny, but
Yeah.
people look at the rate as being higher.
Exactly.
They say, my God, the variable rate's like 5.5 and the HELOC rate is higher. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
To avoid that 3-month penalty.
Absolutely.
Okay? But again, only certain circumstances, smaller mortgage, more house value, and you intend to lock into a fixed at the right time, which might be May next year, or it might be June next year, okay? So it is in many ways a strategy that lets you pick your spot, okay? Not for everybody, but it's worth thinking about. So why do I talk about the idea that the 5-year fixed will be something that we have to start thinking about? Not today, but soon.
Soon, yeah.
So why do I talk about it is this, that the bond market, which controls fixed rates, and the rates themselves, that whole complex of rate action is forward thinking. Like when you see a rate today on a 5-year fixed, it reflects what bond traders think is going to happen months from now.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of years from now. Okay. So you say, wait, what? You guys always tell us that bond yields relate to fixed rates, and so what are you saying now? There's some other magical element to it that they look into the future? Unfortunately, the answer is yes. They do.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay? So what the whole idea here is that just like fixed rates went up in 2022 far faster than variable.
Yeah.
Like, you remember that?
Yeah.
Like they were going up so much faster than variable rates. It made people were saying, well, I can't take fixed because it's more expensive. I got to take a variable, which is literally the worst possible thing to do. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, the bank regulator did not help because they fixed it so that you could get a bigger mortgage if you took variable back in 2022.
Yeah.
So total treachery. But anyhow, the idea is that fixed rates will hit bottom before variable will hit bottom.
Absolutely.
That's just how it works. It worked on that. That was what happened on the way up. That will be what happens on the way down. So it's possible that a 5-year fixed rate that you get next April or May or maybe even March, that 5-year fixed rate will be a great deal.
Well, back to normal, because before, most people, when they get a mortgage, they go for 5-year. That's the majority of them.
Yeah,
right?
and now we see lots of 3s.
Now we see a lot of 3s, but going back to normal, go maybe 5. So,
and the reason is, folks, that when rates hit bottom, when the Bank of Canada hits bottom, when the Bank of Canada says sometime in the summer or fall of next year, okay, we're finished now, we're not cutting anymore. Well, at that point, the only other place it can go is up, right?
that's right.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.